I can't believe we said like 3 people. So I'm just going to pretend there's more people now. Right. Thanks for coming. I know you got other stuff that you could be doing, so thank you guys. I appreciate you coming for the start. But today we're going to talk about non-violent communication in sports. It's part of our COM 471 class, Communicating Peace, where we've been learning tips and techniques to communicate non-violently in all aspects of life. We've looked at historical examples, such as when they've used NVC, such as talking about Gandhi and the Salt March in India, the apartheid in South Africa, Denmark when they were neutralised in World War II, and how they used NVC to help them through the struggles. But for this class, we've had to make a project where, well, as we have Carlos, who's on the men's tennis team, Christine, who's women's tennis, and Kanoa, who can't be here today, she's women's basketball. But as we also play sport, we decided to do a project relating NVC to sport. So we made a website with some additional information, which Josh helped us with, which gives you personal experiences from us, talking about NVC, how we've used it in sports and what we've learned, how you can use it when talking to coaches, and also just additional information about NVC. So you can go on to the next slide. This is a quote from our book that we had. It just says, "Most of us have been educated from birth to compete, judge, demand, and diagnose, to think and communicate in terms of what is right and wrong with people. At best, communicating and thinking this way can create misunderstanding and frustration. At its worst, it can lead to anger, depression, and even emotional or physical violence." So today, from our quote, we're going to teach you how to avoid these judgments and demands, and avoid that way of thinking that only leads to the frustration and anger. We're going to change it to a way where you can communicate and you can meet the team's goals effectively and meet your needs as a team and individuals. Those needs we learn by talking to Sol, give them surveys and ask what they want and what their needs are. So that's how we figured out what we need to do. So we're going to talk about what NVC is. And there's a lot of misconceptions with this, so to discover what NVC is, we're going to determine what it is by talking about what it is not. So the first thing is, NVC is not about being nice, it's about being real. It's not about stifling intensity, but transforming it. So, in sport, we all know that you can't use NVC all the time, so we're going to focus on more with well, not on the field, but off the field and talking with coaches. But in reality, you can't always be nice. But if you, for example, if you shout at someone, it's going to stifle the intensity, Spencer. If you're just having a slanging match on the pitch, it's not going to help anything. But if you can learn to communicate properly and you can transfer that intensity to an output which is going to be valuable to the team, such as winning and enjoying your time on the field. The next one, NVC, no, if you got that. NVC is not about changing other people or getting them to do what we want, it's about creating connection and understanding. So if you're telling someone what to do, they probably will do it the first time, but in the long run they're not going to respond to that all the time. So if you're able to relate to them, understand them, you can change their behaviour and change their mindset, and they're more likely to do that in the long run rather than just the first time by shouting at them. And then the last one is, NVC is not a technique or formula, it's a process that helps guide our consciousness to a new awareness. Throughout the course we've learned it's not easy to use NVC. It's pretty hard. Well, we've had personal examples where we struggle to use it. It requires a lot of patience and understanding, and you got to learn to put others' needs first before yours, and by doing that you can meet your goal and the team's goal at the same time. So, why learn NVC in sports? Just a couple of things. Unite teams. If you're united you get better performances. Mutual respect, you learn to work together. Inhibit the judgments of teams, so you can focus on your needs rather than other people's. So you focus on your performance first rather than think about what someone else is doing, you're likely to perform a lot better. Increase empathy. By doing that you strengthen bonds and you want to work more for each other. Next one. Throughout the class we learned that the NVC process has 4 components. First one's observations. We're going to talk about these later on the slide and do some examples. But first one's observations. That's what you see, hear, imagine from your own evaluations. The next one's feelings. How I feel about that observation. And then the next one is needs. What you need that causes those feelings. And finally, requests is actions you want to take as a result. And then we're going to talk more about those now and do some of your own examples.
Pretty much, let's talk about the observation part of NVC, which is pretty much self-explanatory right now. Like, you are in the field, for example, and one of your teammates or your coach did something that you personally don't agree. So you're gonna observe, you're gonna absorb that, and then you're gonna start thinking on that. And just, I don't know if you guys can take a minute here and take a minute and write one observation that you may have from a practice or one playtime or something like that.
So think about something that you've observed that...
Yeah, something that upsets you on practice, or someone did it, or anything related with sports, especially. I don't know if any one of you guys want to share it, or you want us just to go for our example of it.
I'll say what I said. I said, like if we're in a game or we're warming up for a match or something, and one of my teammates is like messing about, joking around too much, like that would annoy me.
Yeah,
for example.
Definitely. So in this case, the example we came was that the player is able to meet the demands of their coach, but in the case that he's not receiving the playtime that he wants, that he thinks he deserves. So then we go for the next step of NVC, which is you have to analyze your feelings. So that used to show our humanness, so they can relate to us. So if you show your feelings, the person will relate better to you and will probably be more your actions will be more acceptable for them. So you need to say your feelings on NVC step. So you need to show it. So in this case, just take one more minute to write what was the feeling, how you felt on the situation that you guys described. Share it, or?
I can share mine. My observation was Spencer shouting on the field at teammates. Sometimes it can get pretty violent. My feeling on that, it's a negative effect on team morale and chemistry as people, I don't know, may not see it like that and don't take it constructively.
Yeah, so pretty much you felt, let's say you felt angry or anxious in this phase?
I wouldn't say, yeah, maybe a bit angry on his decisions for screaming.
Let down.
What?
Let down.
Yeah, he can handle it differently because he's really smarter than that.
Yeah, I get it. So pretty much that's one of the ideas of this NVC. So you will communicate your feelings, which is next step. In our cases, they're gonna tell the person, the player or the coach, that you feel angry, sad, or disappointed, and or confused about the situation, and you will tell him why in a nice way. So now you have to find your needs. which is pretty much why. So you're gonna use the observation and your feelings. Now, why you have that feeling that is related to your needs. So what do you need to don't have the feeling anymore? So if you guys can take a minute to write what you think you need for that, so it could be solved the problem. When you want to share it.
I think we should share it.
Yeah, I can just go ahead and share mine. Said people may need to take constructive criticism better and realize that's what kind of player he is.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers that. I was kind of confused.
So yeah, in this case, so like to explain a little better. So in the case the need is what you personally need for that situation. So the needs that are not going the way you like. So in this situation would be that your need is to be more, for him to be more respectful with you, right? In this case, or like talk to a child or something.
Mm-hmm.
So in our case here, the player wants to increase the amount of time that he's playing. So now we go for our next step, which is the request. So you have to find a way to request it using the NVC step by step, which is the concrete actions we request in order to enrich our lives. Avoid should. So we cannot use the word should, because that's will be how our professor says shooting. So it's not a very concrete word. So you have to say really, you have to be really, I would say, direct in this case. So you have to go direct to the person or for the people that made the action that hurt your feelings. So you have to be direct in a respectful way. So you guys take a minute to write how you feel, what you think NVC request will be in this case. It's not an easy thing, yeah. You really have to, the NVC involves a lot of thought. You have to think a lot before your actions. It's one of the hard things to do on NVC actually. You need to have an open mind. You need to be cool on that.
So you should think about this stuff like as you go through it.
Yeah, so in my case, I'm gonna use some personal experience. I cannot use NVC right away. So if I'm having a fight, I need to cool down a little bit before I use the NVC. So, because I don't like, in my case, I'm not the guy that is, I'm not too calm. Even though I may look calm, I'm not that calm. And then sometimes I just talk too much, I would say. And I need to
like
cool
understand
down,
it.
yeah.
You can't always use NVC on the field, but it's more off the field in the locker room
Yeah.
or with the coach and so forth. In
So
sports
be-
especially. you can't
Yeah,
use
we'll be
NVC.
on the locker room with our teammates, with the people that actually care about. Because let's say the truth, we don't really care about our opponent. We want to go there and crush them. And if they do something that we don't like, we're not gonna have the time to use NVC right there. And it's understandable. We are in the heat and everything. But on the locker room, we have the time. And in our case, the request was that the player gonna go straight and ask for the playtime for their coach. So they're gonna ask for it, for sure, in a respectful way. So they're gonna explain the observation, they're gonna tell their feelings, and then their needs, and request it. So it's a step that you need to follow for NVC so you'll be very successful. If you can use it, you're going to have a better success than actually using violent communication. So we're going to talk also about blocking compassion. That is the thinking about, you say who deserves what. So it's judgment, pretty much. So our example here is that a coach not understanding the effort a player is putting in order to meet their needs, and then not communicating effectively with the individual why they are still not having their needs met. So pretty much, do you want to give us an example of that?
Yeah, put me on the spot there, Cal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be good if you did well with that.
Yeah. So observing the idea of NVC now, you have to observe, but you cannot judge. So for example, if I'm observing someone being lazy on my practice, I'm not gonna judge him, oh, that's a lazy guy. I'm gonna observe, okay, he's being lazy, but why? Why does that bother me? What do I need from him? And how are we gonna tell him that without being a douche? Pretty much. So example is listening to what the player has to say and not ignoring their needs, just that they may not be seen as valuable team member. That's one of our examples.
I know I have a personal example in the past, maybe not so much these days, but definitely in my old teams, people that weren't playing and they like requesting us, and then I wouldn't give them as much time as I would like more valuable team member. I'd have those judgments and I wouldn't treat them the same way, but that's something that as I got older, it's definitely something I've tried to work on and improve.
Definitely. Once again, like Alex said, why we need NVC and our locker room talks. Because we're going to be more united if that comes to work, and increase morale. The mutual respect will grow. The teamwork will be better because people will be more likable and they will have more respect from their teammates. And keep judgments. Focus on your own needs, your own tasks, not of the others. So you have to focus on yourself and not of the others. Even though we have the observation part, which you observe what is going around, but you're not going to see as a judge. You're just going to see as an action that is happening. And again, using the feelings, the needs, and the request steps. Also to increase empathy, because if we are successful in NVC, we will increase empathy, which strengthens bonds and the willing to work for each other. So you have your buddy, I have your backs, pretty much. That's the feeling that we want to create on the locker rooms. And as a personal experience, we know that is the teams that are more united are more successful because they work harder together and they go on the field and they play better together because they know each other better, they respect each other more, and they pretty much have a stronger team as a whole. It doesn't necessarily need to have these better players, but they will have a stronger team. Again, the importance. NVC promotes change. NVC is not like let's use a different example here. NVC is not like a fight. If you fight with someone, that person may agree with you that time, but when you fight with someone, that person will likely not like you as much. So as soon as they have a chance, they will get back on you. So what NVC is, you're gonna promote the change, but this change will be likely forever or will be a longer change. So you change people's mind, you're not gonna change their actions right away. So you change their mind in order to change their actions. And also NVC does not change someone's action there, but change individuals' minds, values, and beliefs. So what I feel from NVC is that you teach the person the correct way, and this person, their mind will change, will be more open-minded. And with that, their actions will also change. It is a longer step than the violence, but will last way more than the violence. Also, here's a historical example, the civil rights movement. So you change people's perceptions on race, and for a longer term than, for example, war. And changing and shaping the behavior of the future generations. That's one of the steps of NVC on that. So here's a little more about us. That's our website, where you guys can find some more information about NVC. Look at this. That's our website. That's the Josh.
Got Camilla did an example, I think, of a coach's conflict for the basketball team. Trying to get back. We have our team, where we have a bit about us and our personal experiences with it.
My angry face.
Josh, that picture especially.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything back from when I was in high school.
And then we have a little bit of further information about NVC that Christine wrote about, and some historical examples and NVC sports if you want to read a bit more. And that's it, I think.
Yep. That's pretty much it. So NVC will help you to change, will help you change your mind.
Sustainable change.
Sustainable change.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Questions?
So,